Today we're going to be talking about the Bauer 12.5-inch planer.
What's up, YouTube? So I've had this Bauer planer. It's just it's 12.5 inch, and I've had it for 3 years now, and I've used it a ton, and I have not done a review on it. So I figured we'll do that for this one. Now I'll walk you around it. I'll show you the features, and then I will explain everything about it that I like or don't like. So here's the front of it. You got your switch for on and off. You got a reset button. This is the way you will feed your wood. It does not have a gauge right here like the DeWalt or the Rigid. I believe even the new Hercules brand from Harbor Freight even has that gauge for like your depth gauge. I haven't found an issue not having it, but it would probably be nice to have it. You can go 6 inches all the way down. I have measured after running it through what this says, according to this, and it's matched up. It's pretty accurate. One thing I will say about this planer that absolutely is terrible is this dust port. I've tried hooking a shop vac up to it, which probably isn't powerful enough for it anyways. You probably need an actual dust collector, but I don't have one. But even when I don't have a vac hooked up to it and it's just blowing out, this gets clogged up really easily, and it's just not very good. I've had issues with it.
So here's your hex tool. You got a bolt right here that you're going to undo, and one on the opposite side. And then you got 2 more screws that are where the dust port is. You're going to take those out, and you'll be able to pull all that right out of there to get to your cutter head. So right here, you're going to roll your cutter head until it locks, just like that. And you're going to take your hex tool, you bust these loose, then you'll be able to pull the gib off, and then you'll take those magnets and you can grab the blade and just rotate them. So right here, I'm pulling the gib off, and then I'm about to go right onto the blade, hook on just like that. You can spin it around, and now you're going to be using your new cutter. But I just changed these, so I'm going to switch back to how I had it. Once you're done with the one side, you got that release right there. Then you can turn it, and then it'll lock again. And then you can do this side.
All right, so to adjust your beds, to try and avoid getting sniped and all that, you have these 2 screws right here. You'll just twist them and then pull it down. And then I got like a little torpedo level that I'll stick right here and make sure it's level. And I'll do both sides, and then I'll take like a 4-foot level afterwards. I'll put it on here and I'll just make sure it's level and it's flat. And then that's how you do that. I feel like it's pretty easy to use for a planer. This is my first one. I have used a Rigid, which I think was like 13 inches that you could do. And that one's actually really nice. I liked it a lot, and it was smoother to operate than this, like with your handle to do all your adjustments and all that. And I really didn't get much snipe when I used that one. This one, I had, it took me a while to get this set up to where I didn't get snipe. Now, I still get it. It's just not as bad. So what I'll do is I'll just run all my boards through before actually having them cut to length. That way, if there is any snipe, I can just cut it, get rid of it, and it doesn't ruin anything. So, like I've said, I've had this for 3 years, and I've ran a lot of wood through this. I got 3 pieces here that have been through this planer. This is a piece of hard maple. I mean, I haven't done anything to this since it's came off the planer. And it has a nice cut. Now, here's a piece of cherry. And it did just fine with this too. And got some walnut. I've ran like hemlock and red oak and everything through here. Even pine. Pine, it does all right with pine, but when it comes to hardwoods, I haven't had a single issue run any hardwood through this. I would honestly say this thing is a beast. I haven't had any issues with it, and it does everything I could possibly need it to do or want it to do. I even have like a sled that will run through here so I can get one side flat before I even run it through the planer. Because I don't have a joiner that's big enough to do most of my boards anyways. I just have a little 6-inch one. So most of the time I'm jointing and planing through this with either the sled or whatever.
So the Bauer is $349. The Hercules is $429, but you can get it at $369 if you are a member. The DeWalt is $569 or $599 if you want the extension beds, and the Rigid is $529.
Okay, so now that we've gone over pricing, the only thing that's pretty close to the price range of the Bauer is the Hercules, and that's only if you're a member. If you're a member, you get it for the $369, which is still a little bit more than what you can pick up the Bauer for right now. But with what the Hercules has compared to the Bauer, it might be a choice you want to make. But when it comes to the DeWalt and the Rigid, they're much more expensive. And me personally, if I could go back from when I bought that planer and decide if I'm going to buy that or go a different route, I'd probably go the same way that I did and choose the Bauer. I haven't had any issues. It's done exactly what I've needed it to do. And for a beginner, I think it's pretty good. It's a good choice. Now, if you got the little bit of extra money to go with the Hercules, I mean, you might want to go with the Hercules. They're supposed to be the better, more professional grade tool compared to the Bauer, but I don't think you can go wrong with either choice. Or you can just go with the phrase, buy once, cry once, and go with a DeWalt or get an actual floor standing planer that's much bigger. But that's how I feel with the Bauer.
For the Bauer, you got the 15 amp motor. It's got the 4-carriage frame, which is supposed to reduce movement that causes snipe. You got your 2 knife cutter head and the dual rollers, and then your bed is 31 inches long. So just like the Bauer, the Hercules has a 15 amp motor. It's got 3 knife cutter head. It has the gauge for your depth cut, and then it has a 33.5-inch infeed and outfeed tables, which is more than the Bauer. The Rigid and the DeWalt planers are pretty much the same as the Hercules. The only difference is the DeWalt has a 2-speed gearbox, which would be nice.
So that'll wrap it up for this. I hope this review was helpful if you are looking to get a planer, especially if it's your first one. I think this would be a good choice. I don't think you could go wrong with it. There are better options, but I think this is a good choice overall. I think it's a great machine. I think they did a good job making it, and I don't have any issues. So have a good one.